The level of wealth across the world is a complex and dynamic issue that is shaped by a range of factors, including economic development, political stability, natural resources, and social policies. In this essay, I will explore the distribution of wealth across the world, including the factors that contribute to these disparities and the implications they have for global development. Overview of global wealth distribution. The distribution of wealth across the world is highly uneven, with the vast majority of global wealth concentrated in a relatively small number of countries. According to the Credit Suisse Global Wealth Report 2020, the top 1% of the world's population holds 43% of global wealth, while the bottom half of the population holds just 1% of global wealth. At the national level, wealth disparities are even more pronounced. In the United States, for example, the top 10% of households hold nearly 70% of the country's wealth, while the bottom 50% hold just 2.4% of the wealth. Similarly, in India, the top 1% of the population holds 42.5% of the country's wealth, while the bottom 50% holds just 2.5% of the wealth. Factors contributing to global wealth disparities. There are a range of factors that contribute to global wealth disparities, including historical legacies, political and economic systems, and natural resource endowments. Historical legacies. Many of the world's wealthiest countries have benefited from centuries of colonialism, imperialism, and exploitation. The wealth of these countries was built on the backs of enslaved peoples and the exploitation of natural resources in colonies around the world. This legacy of exploitation has left many countries with deeply entrenched inequalities that persist to this day. Political and economic systems. Political and economic systems also play a significant role in shaping the distribution of wealth across the world. In countries with democratic institutions and market economies, wealth is more evenly distributed than in countries with authoritarian regimes and state-run economies. This is because democratic institutions create greater opportunities for political participation and economic mobility, while market economies create more opportunities for entrepreneurship and innovation. Natural resource endowments. Natural resource endowments, such as oil, gas, and minerals, can also contribute to wealth disparities. Countries that are rich in natural resources can experience significant economic growth and development, but if these resources are not managed effectively, they can also create corruption, conflict, and environmental degradation. This can lead to significant disparities in wealth within and between countries. Implications of global wealth disparities. Global wealth disparities have significant implications for global development and social justice. Inequality can hinder economic growth and development by limiting opportunities for education, healthcare, and social mobility. It can also contribute to political instability and conflict, as marginalized groups are more likely to feel excluded from political processes and economic opportunities. In addition to these social and economic implications, global wealth disparities also have significant environmental consequences. Wealthy countries are responsible for a disproportionate share of global carbon emissions, and the environmental impacts of climate change are likely to be felt most acutely by the world's poorest and most vulnerable communities. Addressing global wealth disparities. Addressing global wealth disparities will require a range of policies and initiatives, including investments in education, healthcare, and social infrastructure, as well as reforms to political and economic systems to create more opportunities for participation and mobility. In addition, addressing climate change and environmental degradation will require collective action and global cooperation to reduce carbon emissions and protect vulnerable communities. In conclusion, the distribution of wealth across the world is highly uneven, with the majority of global wealth concentrated in a relatively small number of countries. This is due to a range of factors, including historical legacies, political and economic systems, and natural resource endowments. These disparities have significant implications for global development, social justice, and the environment, and addressing them will require a range of policies and initiatives, as well as global cooperation and collective action. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to the channel.